Hola, buenos días. Hoy tenemos el placer de presentar a Pema, un ingeniero restaurador de Bután que se ha especializado, se ha estudiado en Bután y en Japón, y es un gran defensor del patrimonio en Bután que nos va a descubrir a través de su conferencia, con una gran presencia de estructuras en tierra y con un esfuerzo enorme por su parte en la recuperación de este patrimonio tan extraordinario y tan desconocido normalmente para muchas partes del mundo. Un saludo y que lo disfrutéis.
Khususangpula. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone. First of all, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to Professor Fernando Vegas for granting me this opportunity to deliver a lecture on Bhutanese earthen architecture at the UNESCO Chair Conference on Earthen Architecture, Construction Culture, and Sustainable Development. I'm Pema, a civil engineer from Bhutan, and I currently work as an independent consultant. I have collaborated with my colleague from the Department of Culture and Dzongkha Development under the Ministry of Home Affairs, Royal Government of Bhutan, to prepare this lecture. His name is Mr. Junzang Tenzin, who is also a civil engineer. Our focus today will be on Bhutan and its earthen architecture, with a particular emphasis on rammed earth and vernacular construction practices. We will also discuss about the latest developments in this field as well. First and foremost, let's discuss about Bhutan briefly. Bhutan is a small landlocked country in the eastern Himalayas in South Asia. We are bordered by China to the north and by India to the south, east, and west. We are a population of around 700,000, and the total land area is about 38,394 square kilometers, with altitude ranging from 150 meters to 7,550 meters above the mean sea level. And Bhutan is well known for the development philosophy of gross national happiness. There are 4 pillars, that is sustainable socio-economic development, environmental conservation, and preservation and promotion of culture, all under the framework of good governance. I share this insight to emphasize that the thriving traditional construction practices in Bhutan are deeply rooted in the foundation laid for the preservation and promotion of culture. The Bhutanese vernacular houses plays an integral role in shaping the unique cultural landscape of Bhutan. And before we delve into the tangible aspects of earthen architecture, I would like to emphasize the pivotal role played by the intangible cultural heritage and expression in sustaining our traditional construction practices. There are 6 secular crafts such as weaving, woodwork or carpentry, stonework, bamboo and cane weaving. We have gold and silver smithing, and also the blacksmithing. Additionally, there are 7 religious arts and crafts such as painting, sculpting, carving, calligraphy, bronze casting, paper making, and embroidery. And the continuity of these practices still actively followed ensures the preservation and promotion of skills and knowledge that are essential for constructing our traditional vernacular houses and monumental structures in Bhutan. These interplay between the tangible and the intangible aspects, it forms the bedrock for Bhutan's rich cultural heritage, and it also has influenced the distinctive architectural landscape that you can see now here in Bhutan. Now let's explore about the diverse spectrum of architectural form for built structures in Bhutan. It ranges from very modest and simple hut which are constructed using timber and bamboo materials to elaborate, let's say, residential dwellings. And further, we have temple architecture and the grandeur of the largest monuments like Zong architecture. These are fortresses. And therefore, Bhutan showcases a remarkable array of built structures. In essence, we can see that the spectrum of architectural sizes and forms encapsulates the harmonious blend of tradition, functionality, climate, and cultural expression. Now going into the vernacular Bhutanese construction, there are mainly three main types of construction typologies. One is the rammed earth construction, then we have a stone masonry construction and adobe construction, which utilizes the soil materials, and rammed earth buildings are commonly found in the western part of Bhutan, while the stone masonry in mud mortar is prevalent in the eastern part. And interestingly, both of these construction practices coexist in the central region of Bhutan. And today we will focus on the rammed earth construction. And the rammed earth construction is one of the oldest construction methods in Bhutan, and it is mainly composed of the massive walls made of rammed earth used in combination with wooden components. And rammed earth is a popular and let's say commonly practiced construction method where locally available soil is skillfully crafted into structures using indigenous construction techniques and skills. And also the timber, which are locally sourced, complements this construction style. And one important aspect related to construction of rammed earth houses is the presence of a strong communal sense of belonging as the local community comes together to support in the construction of each other's house. Moreover, from the carbon footprint perspective, I believe that rammed earth construction is one of the solutions to reduce the carbon emissions. And beyond the environmental considerations, rammed earth constructions or houses offers significant comfort benefits as shared by the inhabitants. More so, the inherent thermal mass property of rammed earth, keeping the interior warm in winter and cool in summer, it contributes to the well-being of the inhabitants. Moreover, the construction of traditional houses and the rehabilitation efforts, it contributes to preserving and passing down of the traditional knowledge, the skills and practices from one generation to another. This not only sustains the cultural heritage perspective, but also provides local employment opportunities, fostering the economic self-reliance within the community. But Bhutan is located in a highly seismic prone region, and there were concerns about the seismic safety. And we need to address these concerns, and we need to develop the mechanism to reduce and mitigate the seismic risks, a topic that I will delve in later in my presentation. So now let's look at the architectural plans and components of the vernacular ramjet house in Bhutan. The ramjet houses or structures exhibit a range from a single-storied to four-storied houses, but the most commonly found now is the two-storied structures. Regarding this, in the past, I think the traditional three-storied layout was more prevalent. For instance, the ground floor used to serve as a shelter for the cattle. The first floor was more or less designed for grain storage, and the living spaces were situated on the topmost floor. However, due to the shift in policies related to health and hygiene, and also the personal lifestyle preferences, changes can be seen, and but there may be many other reasons, and therefore the most common number of stories found nowadays in vernacular houses are two. So in this slide I'm showing you a typical plan for a two-storied ramjet house. You can see the dominant part of the structure at the ground floor level are ramjet walls, which are the main load-bearing elements, and we will discuss about the walls in more details. And the upper floor has more openings made of timber structure, and like I said, it houses the main living area, and most often it has altar spaces for spiritual and religious practices. Aside from the wall configurations, which depends on the owner, there are like a diverse timber facade on the first floor, and as you can see in the slide, and each timber component has a distinct name based on its location, use, and functionality. And understanding these names is critical and is crucial if you really want to understand and comprehend the system of constructing such houses. But I will not delve into the history and the component naming aspects in this lecture. Aside from the walls and the architectural facade for doors and windows, the flooring system is one of the most important part of such structures, and the flooring system in such structures usually incorporates integrated timber components. We have the timber joist, which serve as the primary structural element that transfers the load from the floor to the walls. And as you can see in this slide, for the intermediate floor levels, we have two wooden planks which are placed on top of the floor joist with a mud layer sandwiched in between. And for the roof level also we employ the same system, but we only use one layer of timber board, which is overlain by a compacted mud layer. And in this slide, I wanted to show you recent construction that I have seen around, and they were inserting the timber joist into the walls. Basically, they were constructing the floors. And there are many different ways to insert a timber joist in a ramjet structure, and it depends on the craftsman and the way the wall construction are planned based on the size and shape of the house. And in this recent construction that I have seen, they have cut the wall and the timber joist were inserted into the wall. And if you do this kind of if you employ this method, then we can actually improve the connection between the wall and the joist by using connectors. And normally the joists are found, the timber joist finds support to the walls directly on both sides, but if you want more expansive spaces, then we employ additional support often using timber columns. And as you can see here that conventionally this kind of flooring system act as a flexible diaphragm. Therefore, there is a need for much care and attention when it comes to ensuring that there are adequate anchorages. Similarly, the other major component of our vernacular houses is the roof. The roofing material consists of timber elements which are intricately joined together using a very well crafted joinery system, and we have many different kinds of joinery system. And now because we have nails, often we use nails in these constructions. And another aspect is the roofing material. Previously the wooden shingles were used, but now they are being slowly replaced by metal sheetings which are easily found in the market. From this point onwards, I will discuss about the indigenous construction practices and the various structural components, and I believe it's very important to understand this kind of the methods and the way we construct the houses, the good construction practices, and also how where you need to really focus to have a good and structurally or seismically resilient construction. And first and foremost is the foundation. The foundation for rammed structure is usually built using stone masonry walls in mud mortar, and the depth of the foundation is carefully set at a very strong, let's say a ground or a bed stratum, and the width of the foundation normally found it varies from 1 to 1.5 times thicker, times the thicker of the main wall. And following the completion of the wall foundations, the rammed walls are constructed on top of them, and you can see these foundations projecting outward from the ground level a little higher than the ground level, just to protect the rammed walls. And for the construction of the rammed walls, the selection of soil and water content, it holds a paramount importance, and traditionally the soil is chosen through a very simple lump test decision, often entrusted to the experienced master craftsman who looks after the construction of traditional houses in Bhutan. But from the scientific standpoint, we have conducted several experiments and tests, and what we have seen is that the soil composition should be a balance of sandy to clay soil, and with an optimal water content ratio of around 15% by soil mass. And the another aspect for the construction of rammed earth is the formwork, and the formwork actually plays an integral role. And here in Bhutan, we utilize wooden shutters made from hardwood, and there are two planks. We refer to them as pashing. Pa is nothing but the rammed earth, and shing is timber, which are placed on either side of the wall edge, and but we need to consider the wall thickness, and these shutters are connected using two horizontal timber members called gashing and gushing and jushing, which are strategically positioned and tightened using wooden wedges. And then the soil, suitable soil, is placed in this formwork and compacted using two types of wooden rammers, which we call it Tenzin and Saute. The primary rammer is the Tenzin, which is utilized for compacting the soil until a desired level of compaction is achieved. And then we use this Saute for compacting the edges of the wall. So here you can see the method that we employ to ram the soil for constructing the walls. So the here you can see how well the rammed process, ramming of the soil happens, and the synchronization that you can see. Actually, we can determine whether the desired compaction is achieved by listening to the sound, when you ram when you do such rammings, and also you can actually observe the surface of the soil, compacted soil, and you can see whether the compaction has been achieved. But this requires extensive experience and expertise of the craftsmen or the technical personnel. In the build structure, like when you talk about the compaction, it has been observed that the compaction of the soil layers, the soil layers, it plays a very important role in strength and stability of the house. Typically, the rammed walls of the houses are at times plastered, and sometimes it's exposed. And if it is plastered, then you have to scrape off certain part of the wall to check the layers. So we have surveyed over hundreds of traditional houses in Bhutan, and we have found that the older houses, which were built before, let's say, 1980s, and those that are still in a very good condition, the number of layers found in one block exceeds 12, and each rammed block has a height of more or less more than around 600 mm. And then the wall thickness for the older houses, it ranges around 800 to 900 for two-story or let's say three-story structures. And from that perspective, the average compacted soil layer has a thickness of around 50 mm. And we have conducted several tests to check if we have 50 mm, or let's say the newly constructed houses tend to have like fewer layers with the average thickness of 100 mm. And when we conducted tests, we could see that if the 50 mm thickness of the layers has more strength as compared to 100 mm, and moreover, thicker the layer, it leads to honeycombs and also the surface deterioration. So we have always disseminated that you really need to pay attention when you construct a new rammed houses, to ensure that adequate compactness and the number of layers are put in place. Moreover, regarding the overall configurations, regarding the wall thickness and the amount of wall that you place in a plan configuration, you can actually do a very simple calculations and then decide on the wall thickness as well. So here you can see that the difference between a well compacted and not so good compacted soil layer. So often when the compaction of the walls if it is well executed, then it's very difficult to discern the individual wall layers, because you can see a very homogeneous wall blocks. And the wall layers and the thickness are very important parameters when carrying out not just for construction of new, but during conditional assessment of inbuilt structures. Uh, Moreover, in addition to the material properties and dimensions, another key parameter in rammed houses is the three C's, that is connection, connection, connection. And as you know, connection is very important in load-bearing structures. In rammed houses, the rammed blocks are constructed individually, and thus it is very important that you have very good and proper connections. So here you can see that even in the vertical construction, the two superimposed blocks have to be overlapped at corners and also at the wall intersections to avoid the creation of vertical joints. Um, More so, traditionally, there are many good construction systems or practices that has been employed, and one such measures that we could see is the use of timber or let's say small stone slabs which are placed at the intersection of the rammed blocks. This is also to achieve a good connection and also to avoid propagation of cracks. And furthermore, we have the system of tapering the walls, and there are I think more than two ways of tapering the walls. And the commonly found is the outer wall being tapered, and this also contributes to the lateral strength and global stability of such houses. Uh, so as we surveyed the ruins and uh, those buildings which were damaged by fires or earthquakes, we could see how how the former craftsmen have devised ways to actually make good connections using timber locks, which are placed often at the intersection of the walls and also at the corners. So it is challenging to find such practices in the existing building, but what we have found that houses that has such incorporated techniques, they've experienced minor damages during the last earthquakes that happened in Bhutan. Uh, More so, we could also see similar methods of using timber blocks and stones for wall stitching as well. Mm. Uh, Also, in the rammed houses, the use of timber is exhaustive, and the timber components and elements, it plays an integral role in the construction of such houses. And these timber elements, for let's say door or windows or other elements, they are crafted using traditional tools and skills, but following a component-wise approach. And the components are constructed in carpentry workstations, which are then transported and reassembled on site using robust joinery systems. And this kind of fabrication and assembly techniques proves to be very practical and efficient in construction works. More so before the 1960s, Bhutan craftsmen, they used this anthropometric scale of construction, that is the human scale, so resulting in a unique measurement system with diverse scales and forms. But this has been now replaced by the use of easily available measuring tapes with standardized sizes. So with this, I also want to share with you the evolution of traditional Bhutanese ramjet houses. Uh, this is based on the research findings which was jointly carried out by the Department of Culture and the Tokyo National Research Institute for Cultural Properties to really understand the typology and the chronology of ramjet houses in Bhutan. Uh, this is one of the research findings, like how our traditional houses has evolved over time. And one of the guiding factor in this research assessment was based on the openings. So the older the house, fewer the openings. And in the contemporary times, the inhabitants or the owners, we like prefer more openings. So it has led to the reduction of number of walls. So when with the increase in wall openings, definitely this will significantly, I think, reduce the seismic capacity. So these are some of the concerns, and for more detailed analysis, the aforementioned organizations have published a book called Vernacular Houses in Bhutan, and the department is also working on the evolution of traditional stone masonry houses, and this research is currently underway. From here on, I would like to discuss about the recent trends and research works for earthen construction in Bhutan. Like I mentioned, Bhutan is situated in a highly seismic prone region, and we have experienced medium level earthquakes over the last few decades. Prominently in 2009, there was a 6.1 magnitude earthquake that affected the uh, uh, eastern part of the country. So like I said, we have more stone masonry houses there, so a lot of stone masonries were damaged. And subsequently in 2011, there was another earthquake of magnitude 6.9 that affected the western part of the country, and the rammed earth houses were damaged. And it was opportunity to actually learn about the construction practices and systems, and we have also published book damage assessment based after this earthquake. And these earthquakes have actually raised concerns and also misconceptions amongst the Bhutanese populace regarding the strength and stability of such vernacular houses. And in response, the Department of Culture has initiated numerous scientific research works to really understand the behavior of such houses since 2011. And I want to share one significant achievement in Bhutan while I was also working for the department is the establishment of the test facility that is capable of conducting, we can conduct full-scale static tests and also dynamic shaking table systems through the SUTREPS project, which was funded by JICA and JST, and partly funded by, of course, by Royal Government of Bhutan. And using this facility, we have conducted numerous experimental works to really understand the behavior of Bhutanese rammed earth and stone masonries. And we have also published and developed several guidelines and manuals, which I will show later. And based on these guidelines, we have actually implemented rehabilitation work. And one such project that we have carried out is the rehabilitation and seismic strengthening of a traditional two-storied rammed earth house. This house was found to be in a dilapidated condition and not used, and the team has carried out a detailed survey and documentation. We used Faro for laser scanning works. We did on-site conditional assessment, we carried out structural analysis and design, and finally we incorporated mesh wrap technique and floor strengthening using steel anchors. And as we carry out or conduct scientific or technical research, it's important we also train and disseminate information to our local engineers and colleagues and also the craftsmen. So after the assessment, we trained the local craftsmen and engineers, and then with a good understanding of the of the mesh wrap retrofitting technique that we have adopted here, they actually implemented that on site and completed the rehabilitation work. And for the new construction, the use of reinforced concrete band, which is connected by using a vertical reinforcement, which is encased in concrete, was also introduced after conducting several experiments for rammed earth. We know that such techniques were used in other parts of the world, but we wanted to make sure it works for Bhutanese vernacular houses. And these are some of the results, and all these results and the experimentation works that we have carried out can be found in the two websites that I provided here. And here you can see that we have also prepared brochure, a very simple brochure which is easy to understand, both in English and our local language, national language, Tsongkha, for easy understanding and showing step-by-step method of employing such techniques. So I would like to conclude my lecture here, and I hope that you have enjoyed the presentation on earthen architecture, especially the insights into our rammed earth construction practices in Bhutan. And if you have any further queries or suggestions, please feel free to contact me or my colleague. And I thank you, sincerely thank you for your time and attention. Tashidele.